Guys, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the top 10 craziest roller coasters. This will include some of the fun coasters and one weird idea. At number 10 I have Lightning Rod. Not this version currently, but the old wooden version. When it opened in 2016 as the world's only launch wooden roller coaster. It was a pretty crazy concept from RMC. And Lightning Rod isn't near as crazy as it used to be as they slowed down the launch. However, Lightning Rod is still a crazy ride. It still looks really fun. I think this still is probably one of the best roller coasters in the world, but is no longer considered a wooden roller coaster because it is mostly steel I-box track now. Over 50% of the track is. So RMC had to come in and fix this ride as it had many mechanical issues. I think that's the reason that it can't be. Then at number 9 I have Formula Rossa, which is the fastest roller coaster in the world. Formula Rossa hits a max speed of 149 miles an hour. This is just a crazy speed, and that launch alone makes it a pretty crazy ride. However, this ride isn't as crazy as other Intamin coasters with insane speed, as it isn't as tall as the other ones, and you'll see those later on this list. Formula Rossa's launch is the only reason it's here, and it doesn't really do much after that launch. It's trimmed and just does some twisting around. At number 8 I have Iron Gwazi. Iron Gwazi is the tallest, fastest, and steepest hybrid coaster. This ride is insane. It even has an element called the death roll. Yes, the death roll. I would love to experience the death roll. There it is, right there. I just went through it. And any ride with an element called the death roll, you know, is pretty crazy. This ride has insane ejector airtime, and overall is probably one of the best coasters in the whole world. This ride is insane just because it's pure height and speed on that wooden structure. And what RMC did to get this coaster built was also crazy. How they used the old Gwazi footers to build this thing. This thing is overall just insane. At number 7 I have King Ka, the world's tallest coaster. You knew this was going to be on the list. That launch is shaky, but it's probably intense. And that speed too. This is the second fastest coaster in the world. And when you're going up that top hat, up to 450 something feet, that must be just like the craziest feeling ever. Going that fast, that high, so quickly. This is probably one of the craziest rides ever. And if people didn't find ways to make the seats move and make even crazier concepts, this would probably be higher up. At number 6 I have Top Thrill Dragster. The only reason this is above King Ka is it is also 400 feet, 420 feet. And it's a little slower at 120 miles an hour. And this is the third fastest roller coaster. However, the launch on this one I hear is smoother. And also Top Thrill Dragster is getting reimagined. And I think that reimagining could make this thing way crazier than King Ka. I can see if Intamin's doing it, maybe them giving it a swing launch with a backwards spike. And you would get a rollback every time on Top Thrill Dragster. At number 5 I have Son of Beast, the world's tallest, fastest, and only looping wooden roller coaster ever built. This was a crazy concept for the time, and it still is. We still do not have a wooden roller coaster over 200 feet tall, and Son of Beast is the only modern day wooden roller coaster to ever include a vertical loop. The pure height and speed of this coaster, and it being made of wood, just makes this thing absolutely insane. 78 miles an hour, 218 foot, 214 foot drop, and a vertical loop. No other coaster will ever be anything like Son of Beast, and this, back in the day, probably was one of the craziest rides ever. Like, nobody, and if you saw this thing from the outside the park, you'd be like, wow. At number 4, I have X2. X2 is a fourth dimension coaster. It is built by Aerodynamics. This is one of their last projects, and it was Alan Schulke helped design it. Alan Schulke now works for RMC and helps them design some of their crazy concepts. This is insane. The other ones are also on this list, and this is the most tame of the 3. This one has the least amount of height, but this thing is still over 200 foot tall with those insane flipping seats. And you never really know which way you're going. You can be upside down when the track is right side up, and you can be right side up when the track's upside down. Next is Dino Conda. Dino Conda is another fourth dimension coaster. This one's built by S&S. This is located in China, and this one's taller and faster than X2. And this thing is just absolutely insane too. The flipping of the seats, the way it's built, the more height, the more speed. And like exactly what I said with X2, you could be upside down while the track is upright, and the track can be upside down while you're upright. These are like some of the craziest coasters in the world, and don't you worry, you'll see the other one in a minute. Dinoconda is not higher than the other one because the other one's just a little taller. And number 2 is Steel Vengeance. This is the only 4th dimension coaster not in the top 4, and there's reasons why. Steel Vengeance was built to be the world's best coaster, and it probably is. I haven't rode it yet, but it still probably is. But it can't be the world's craziest coaster. Steel Vengeance is still absolutely insane. It went from Mean Streak, which is like 160 something feet tall, to Steel Vengeance, which is 205 feet tall. It's only a foot shorter than Velocity and 1 mile per hour slower and 1 degree less steep. But this thing has insane inversions, insane airtime, and overall it probably and I've heard it provides the better ride compared to Iron Gwazi. Iron Gwazi is still probably great and probably in most people's top 10s, but Steel Vengeance is just on another level. Next on the list in the world's craziest coaster goes to Egenika. Egenika is the tallest and fastest of the 4D coasters. Egenika is located in Japan at Fuji-Q Highland. And another coaster that would be on this list maybe is Dodonpa, but we don't really know what's going on with Dodonpa, so I can't really put it on the list. Egenika has the insane feeling of X and Dinoconda, just with more height and speed. And El Toro Ryan says that this is one of his favorite coasters, and he's ridden over 600 coasters. The flipping of the seats. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time.